The crisis within Nigeria's main opposition party has taken a fresh twist. In Lagos, the PDP faction aligned with FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has inaugurated a 19-member Caretaker committee dissolving existing state executives and declaring the Ibadan Convention that produced the Turaki-led NWC illegitimate. At the ceremony in Ikeja, Deputy National Secretary Deji accused leaders like Governor Seyi Makinde and Chief Bode George of deepening the party's woes, while insisting the new committee has the backing of recognized PDP leaders. Well, joining me to discuss this in the studio is Dr. Adetokunbo Pearse. He is the convener of Reset Lagos PDP. Of course, he joins me live. Thank you for your time. It's great to have you, Dr. Pearse. Let me start quickly with your reaction, to the Caretaker Committee that, of course, the faction loyal to the FCT minister. I mean, this issue has been on for a while.
Well, the question of a person like Deji setting up a Caretaker Committee is ludicrous, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a big joke. It doesn't make any sense. Before you can set up a Caretaker Committee, you must have removed the committee that was in place. And with what authority does the Deji have to even speak as a member of the PDP? Here is a man who in 2023, on national television, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Hamzat, said publicly that Deji, even in his position as the chairman of the presidential campaign for Atiku in Lagos State, was working for APC. And since then, he has not denied it. Since that time, he's had other problems. For instance, I was in 2023 election, the director of recording and communication for the presidential campaign for Atiku in Lagos. So after the election, I asked for the budget that was given to the chairman, that's Deji. He got something like $2.7 million to conduct the election.
In Lagos?
In Lagos. What happened was, at the end of the exercise, there was no funding for agents, no funding for canvassers, there was no refreshment for anybody, there was no transportation paid. At the end of the exercise, PDP had no presence in the Lagos State election for presidential Atiku or for governor.
In spite of
the funding.
In spite of the funding?
Yes.
$2.1 million.
After the election, in my capacity as the director of records, I asked him, I did the budget, I said, look, you have said you spent so much, but we didn't see it in the field. This is how much you have spent as far as we know. If it is not true, let us know. You still owe the Lagos State PDP 1.1 billion naira, unaccounted for. That is the situation for you. Now, secondly, when about 3 months ago we had the zonal congress, the Deji wanted to become the national ex officio from Lagos State, representing Lagos State at the national level as the zonal level. He went in for the election, he was disqualified based on a couple of things. One, the fact that it is on record that he was working for APC in the 2023 election. And he never denied it. He couldn't deny it. When on national TV, the Deputy Governor of Lagos said, you work for us, that's why your candidates lost. He couldn't deny it. Then also, people were asking him, the budget, why did we not see any presence in the field when you were supposed to disburse? We didn't see souvenirs either. No poster, no T-shirt, no hat, nothing to campaign with under his chairmanship. That is why he has been rejected by the PDP in its totality. When he wanted to go for national ex officio, they didn't even, when they screened him, they disqualified him. And this is a man who has run for governor in Lagos State 2003, 2007, 2011, 2000. He runs every time, but he never gets past the primaries because he's so unpopular. This is the man now who's saying he wants to run. Who gave him the authority? Before you can say you are setting up a caretaker committee, your authority must come from somewhere. His authority is coming from Anyanwu, who has been expelled from the party. On what is the party that they belong to? This Deji and co. Which party?
But I mean, of all the things that you have highlighted,
yes,
you talked around accountability, integrity.
Yeah.
But does that also, remove the fact that he is still a party member? Because I was waiting to hear maybe he resigned or has been, removed from the party. I didn't get that.
Look.
Is he still a PDP member, sir?
He is not a member of the PDP. And that is why. Is Wike a member of the PDP when he's been expelled? I ask you.
On the case of Wike that faction actually did publish the names of those expelled.
No, this is the point.
Okay.
Let me tell you, let's be sincere.
Okay.
I don't blame you for not understanding how it's worked, but let me tell you.
No, I do, but I'm trying to break it down for those watching.
Every political party has structure. The PDP has the National Working Committee as the head that administrates the party. Before we got to the National Convention, 14 out of the 18 members of that National Working Committee, the authority of the committee, of the party, suspended 4 members. Anyanwu, the National Secretary, the National Organizing Secretary, the Legal Secretary, and one other. They were suspended. After a while, they were expelled. They now claim the 4 that were expelled by the 14. This is democracy now. It's about numbers and authority. They now claim that they have expelled the 14. Now, does that make any sense? So that's where we are now. We have a wicked group that has no authenticity, no legality, no recognition from anywhere. They cannot go, okay, now we're going to have elections. Well, how are they going to contest?
Okay, so
under what party platform? They don't have it.
Talking about
no
those
party.
Expelled from the party and those that have been removed. INEC actually did say, it did not recognize the Turaki-led leadership of the group, which I believe, Governor Seyi Makinde and a whole couple of others belong to. Where does this leave?
Wait. Did INEC say it recognizes Wike's group? No.
So that's what I'm asking.
No. This is where we are.
Where's the PDP now?
INEC says until it hears from the Supreme Court, until we have clarified our case in court, before it will recognize. INEC does not have jurisdiction over the courts. And the Supreme Court has said, long before now, it is a precedent, it is on record, that any issue of this nature it's an internal issue. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Social Democratic Party expelled a chairman. The Supreme Court said they recognized the chairman, the new chairman that the party said, this is our chairman. The court says, if they say this is their chairman, that's their chairman. The party has said Turaki is the national chairman of the PDP. It is not for INEC to decide for us. That is why we went ahead. Don't forget, we went to our national convention.
Without an endorsement from INEC,
you
can't present a
We
candidate.
don't need INEC's endorsement.
Then how do you run in the election?
We do not need INEC's endorsement. We didn't need it to go for our convention. All we needed,
how do you present a candidate?
Wait a minute. All we needed for INEC was for us to have given INEC the 21-day notice before the election of the National Convention. And we did that. So that it didn't matter whether INEC came or not. That is what the law says. Now, regarding whether we are going to field the candidate or not, 2 things here. And I'm glad we have the opportunity to address the nation. First and foremost, if you deregulate PDP for the reason that we didn't have Congress in 1 or 2 states. You are destroying democracy in Nigeria. You are not giving Nigerians an opportunity to have a viable opposition to vote for. You are destroying multi-party democracy in Nigeria. This is not a Nigerian affair now.
Right.
It's a national issue. So now we have this problem. Secondly, the case of whether we are going to have a candidate, I guarantee you we are going to have a presidential candidate. That is why APC is so afraid, knowing that once we have a candidate, that candidate that emerges from the national primaries of the PDP is going to be the next president of Nigeria, because he has an alternative, positive, progressive for the people.
All right, Dr. Pearse, thank you so much. We'll go on our first break. When we return, we'll digress slightly from Lagos politics and look at it from a broader perspective, particularly fallout of the media chat the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, did have, and some of the things he said. Stay with us, we'll be right back. I still have my guest in the studio with me. Dr. Adetokunbo Pearse is the convener, Reset Lagos PDP. Thank you for staying with me, sir. All right, before we get into the crux of the next conversation, we'll leave Lagos a bit. Let's go into the media chat Governor Seyi Makinde did have, and address some issues. Let's take a listen to some of the things he said in that chat. We'll be right back.
I was in a meeting with the president and Wike. And I'm saying this, in an open chat. The president's chief of staff was also in that meeting, and a few others. And Wike said to the president that, well, sir, I will hold PDP for you, against 2027. I was in shock. So we got up, we got to the veranda. I said, Wike, did we agree to this? I don't like talking about people, and I will not talk about people or talk about events. But I'll talk about the real issue. The real issue is that Wike would like to support the president for 2027. That's fine. It is within his right to do that. But also some of us that want to ensure that democracy survives in Nigeria. We don't drift into a one-party state, and we want to ensure that PDP survives. It should also allow us to do our own thing. That is just the issue between me and Wike. And I confided in a mutual friend of us. After that.
That's, of course, the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, there in the media chat addressing some issues within the People's Democratic Party. I still have my guest with me, Dr. Pearse. Dr. Pearse, I'll quickly like your reaction to some of the things the governor did raise, particularly the Wike factor within the People's Democratic Party.
The governor has said nothing new.
He has said nothing
new. Nothing new. All of us know. How long have you been here? How long have you known that Wike has said that he's working for Tinubu for 2027? As soon as he said that, I advised Governor Makinde. I said, this is the time to get rid of this guy. Because
Well, it was also part of G5 then.
Well, look, politics is very dynamic. You are here today, you are there tomorrow. The point is now, the G5, some of them are in the PDP, some of them are in APC, some of them are in ADC. Now, where are you? Wike, where you cannot be in PDP and in APC. Now, Wike has no political party. Let's get that straight.
He has no political party.
Does he have? You tell me.
No,
he has been expelled from PDP. He has not been accepted in APC. So what's his political party? These people claiming to have a caretaker committee here, by the way, it's not only Lagos they're doing it all over the place. Nobody cares about what they do. It doesn't mean anything because they cannot go for any election. You have to have a political party in place to go for election. At least The PDP is a legitimate political party. Now, whatever problems we have, we clear along the line. It's a legal issue. We are going to have our convention. We had our convention.
In Ibadan.
Where did we have his convention? The man they chose as the Maxi, that they chose as, Wike chose as the chair of his BOT. He ran for president in 2023 in PDP, he got 1 vote. This is the caliber of people that Wike is bringing about because he's using government money to induce people like Deji, who is a transactional politician. It's about money for them. Now they're saying they have a Congress. How can you, on what ground? What's your political party? Who gave you the authority? Wike cannot tell anybody in PDP what to do because he's not a member of the party. So here we are. What the governor is saying is old news.
Old news.
Old news, totally.
Okay, let's bring
we all know that Wike said it himself, not only to the governor, in front of the governor. That was long ago. After that, Wike claimed, months after that, Wike came publicly and said he is going to make sure that he's working for Tinubu for 2027. We know that.
But quickly, I mean, he has also said that part of the things he's trying to ensure within the PDP is that the party follows due process in accordance with the constitution of the party and the law. And he has even also said that so he himself and some of his, of course, followers within the party are saying that, look, we are not the ones destabilizing the party. There are so-called members within the party that are working tirelessly to ensure that this party does not succeed.
What about him? He has said it that it will not succeed. So let those people eventually expose themselves, or he has already exposed himself. Wike has no authority, no local standing to say anything about the PDP. He says that he wants law and order. You know, in 2023, he said himself and the G5, all of them, they said they want the presidency to come to this house. Now that the presidency in the PDP, they voted for the presidency to come to this house. Wike said it's too late. So what does he want? Here is a man who is digging his own political grave. The grave is already wide open for him. It's about 2 small steps for him to fall into it. He has reduced himself to nothing in Rivers State. He has reduced himself to nothing in PDP. He doesn't have a political party. He's just fishing around. If he was not a national figure, a minister, he would not be listened to. Nobody would take him seriously at all.
All right.
If he didn't have all this money thrown around, doing press conferences, talking rubbish, what sense does it make? Well, on what ground does he stand to say he's going to tell PDP what to do? You say you don't want PDP. You say PDP is dead. You say PDP is dead and you're going to make sure you set fire to PDP. And then you say, oh, I love PDP more than PDP loves itself. The man is a hypocrite and a liar and is totally irresponsible. Look, we are going through a system in Nigeria now we've never seen before. Total disregard for law and order. Total disregard for due process. Total disregard for democracy. Because what Wike is trying to do now, which is being aided by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we know that because they're working together, is to destroy all political opposition so that we have a one-party state. Only APC will contest for president. Only Tinubu will contest against Tinubu. It's not going to happen. Not in this country.
All right, before I let you go, in 30 seconds, let's bring it back to Lagos. What would be your final message to Mr. Deji Doherty?
Deji Doherty, I will advise him to go and rest.
You should go and rest.
Yes, don't continue to embarrass yourself. You were exposed as a double agent in PDP. You have not dared to challenge what Dr. Hamzat said about you. You worked for PDP, for APC when you were in PDP. When you were the chairman of the Presidential Council for Atiku in Lagos State, and you had all the money to conduct the election for the president and for the governorship candidate, you pocketed the money, making sure that Atiku lost heavily in Lagos. So that even then you were working. You were supposed to be working for Atiku, but you were working for his opposition, for APC. Such a man is worse. probably worse than Wike because he's operating from the background. My advice to him is to forget about it. Don't waste his time. You can't be so desperate. That kind of desperation will lead to your destruction.
Thank you so much for your time on the program, Dr. Adetokunbo Pearse. Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure.
All right.